Welcome to the Space Out Podcast, where we chill out, chat about, and space out. I'm your host, Luca, a.k.a. LucaTony, and today we're gonna chill out and I'm just gonna talk about my most favorite anime of all time, DevilMan CryBaby. Now, before we get started though, I just want to say I'm sorry that we didn't have an episode last week. I got busy with university, with quizzes and homework, so and I also had planned to do a couple of live streams with a couple of other streamer friends. So yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. There was no episode last week, but this episode, hopefully, it's chill enough. We space out enough, and I get to talk about my most favorite anime of all time. And hopefully it makes it worth it. It's not like a mega-sode or anything like that. It's just like, good vibes all around episode type of thing. Also, on that topic, if you want to see me play Among Us, the newest, hottest game, I have been playing it with streamers for the past month at this point on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LucaTony0708. So if you don't know what the game is, or you do know what the game is and want to see some sick, insane 700 IQ plays, you should go to my live stream, or you can go to YouTube, the YouTube channel, LucaTony0708 as well. I have 3 videos about Among Us, so yeah, you should probably check those out if you're interested. But with that intro and sort of a plug out of the way, so what is DevilMan CryBaby? DevilMan CryBaby is an anime made by, it's not made by Netflix, but it was published by Netflix, funded by Netflix, in 2018, I think, January 2018, and it basically just it was the sensation of the moment. It came usually when an anime comes out, or a show or a movie comes out early in the year. They don't really win any awards at awards show because the newer movies that just came recently from close to the award shows are fresh on the reviewers' mind, and they're like, ah, yes, that movie was great, but they don't remember the ones from early in the year. Well, the DevilMan CryBaby came out in January. The anime awards were in December, and it still won, I think, most of the major categories. It just demolished the competition. It was the greatest anime of 2018, bar none, in my opinion. And in my opinion as well, it's the greatest anime that I've ever watched. And mind you, I've watched FMA and FMA Brotherhood. I've watched Death Note. I've watched Dragon Ball Z. I haven't finished JoJo, but I'm a good chunk of the way there. I'm not speaking out of, and I also haven't only watched mainstream things, right? DevilMan CryBaby is not necessarily mainstream either. I have watched Agretsuko. I've watched One Punch Man. I've watched Assassination Classroom. So I'm a bit of an anime connoisseur myself. But I've had a lot of thoughts and opinions on DevilMan CryBaby that I just don't really talk about. When I did try to talk about it in the form of a YouTube video, my YouTube video got taken down. So now you're gonna have to hear me talk for 20 minutes about why DevilMan CryBaby is the best anime of all time. So not only did it just it was outstanding for its year, even though 2018 was a pretty good year for anime, all things considered. It was also outstanding just as a whole. I don't think there's any other anime that I've ever watched and that I've heard of that comes close in how serious and how, I don't know how to explain it. It has very serious and dramatic and real topics that it talks about, but it doesn't gloss them over like some anime do, where it's just oh yes, the evil bad guy takes control of a country and he treats everyone like slaves. No. This is like they take it real. It feels so real, even though it's literally an anime about demons fusing with humans. Like it literally feels real. But let me just put a disclaimer right out of the way. If you're thinking about watching Devilman CryBaby, rethink, because it is the most R-rated anime, TV show, movie, anything I've ever watched. I don't think there's anything that comes as crude, as violent, as sexually suggestive as Devilman CryBaby. I don't think I've watched anything come close to how just brutally honest, like gritty, dark that this anime is. Like on paper that sounds really bad, but they take it with such like serious tone, and they take it with, they basically wear the seriousness with pride, and it just works fantastically, phenomenally. So if you're not, like, at the very least 18 or older, or are having a bad day, or just like, I don't know, just recently broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, just don't watch it. Don't watch it. Please take my advice. It literally is a show that won't, like, if you're down, it will just beat you to the ground. There's no sugarcoating it. Like, it's brutal. The way I describe it to friends that I try to recommend, like, I'm basically a Devilman CryBaby advocate, right? I've gotten a good chunk of my anime viewing friends to watch it just because I'm always like, man, nothing can compare it to Devilman CryBaby. So they're like, okay, fine, I'll watch it, and they ended up loving it. So I'm not preaching empty words here. But whenever I describe it to friends, I say every single time the best word that I can describe it is that after watching the anime, it leaves you soulless. I don't know how else to describe it, but it just leaves you soulless. It's such a grim reality. It's such a, it speaks so much and does so much social commentary on the human nature and how on our relations, and how we would take the events of the story, and like it just takes it in such a realistic approach. And like I can definitely, like, if demons were real, right, and they could fuse with humans and whatever, like the premise of the show is basically that's not a spoiler, by the way, that happens straight off the bat. If that were real, I think that the events of Devilman CryBaby would play out by the book. Like, I don't think anything would change. Like, it's just brutal. It's brutal. I don't want to say anything just in case after I'm telling you about the show, you want to watch it if you're 18 or older, and are not overly sensitive to gore, violence, nudity, like everything that you could ever describe. But like, it's so brutal. It's so brutal. But what I really like, I don't necessarily like brutal and dark animes. I think the only other anime that I could consider dark that I've watched could be like At Moments, FMA, and Death Note. At Moments, like, and so like I usually watch upbeat or superhero anime like Dragon Ball, like My Hero Academia, like Agretsuko, those types of things. But like this like Devilman CryBaby is on another level, because not only is it brutally honest, brutally realistic about how things would play out if the events of the of the show actually happened, it is all like layered, just like so thickly layered in just so much commentary, meta commentary about the human psyche, about religion, about our interconnectivity between people. Like, it is such a mind-blowing anime to watch. A friend of mine, Manufar11, which you might have seen maybe on a couple of streams that we had played. He literally just finished watching it, and he literally said like, he was like, I think, wait, let me pull it up right here. He was like, what the fuck was that ending? And he was like, that's a horrible ending. And then he was like, I was like, now you see why it's my favorite anime of all time. And he was like, I'm not sure if it's of all time. And after like, I think I messaged with him for like a solid hour about the things that the anime talks about, and like the meaning behind everything, and how deep the social commentary goes. He says, damn bro, this was among the perfect anime I was looking forward to seeing from the inside. Like the message, like I'm literally into that stuff. Like, it's just, here he says, the most crude and realistic format of showing what really is society. And like, I know that sounds like those memes that's like, ah yes, society, but like it really does. It's just, I don't know how to describe it without completely spoiling the entire show. And I honestly feel like I advocated Parasite on my YouTube video about best movies of 2019, and how I literally could not speak about the plot at all because I literally wanted everyone to experience it blind. I really do think The DevilMan CryBaby is best experienced blind, and you should just go with the expectations that you will be left soul crushed. that's all I can literally tell you. And even if you prepare yourself to feel soul crushed, I can guarantee you will feel soul crushed. I had told Manu411 so many times about how he was gonna feel horrible at the end, and he was like, nah dude, I don't really get, like connected. I don't think it's gonna be that great. He ended soul crushed. It's just wow. Then I also wanted to praise the art direction, because there is no other anime that I've ever watched that has that artistic like take. I don't know how to describe that art style. It doesn't have it. No other anime in the world that I've ever watched has that art style. It's very line and like very like, how very line art focused. You know how like some like Instagram artists, right? They are very line art focused. They're very color focused. They're very shadow focused or highlight focused in terms of how they draw. Well, the best way I can describe DevilMan CryBaby is that it's very line art focused, and everything feels so gritty and real. I've literally repeated the words gritty, real, and brutal like 20 times already, but that's literally the only ways I can describe most of everything in this show. Everything goes cohesively so well. The themes that are so real and so brutal, it goes so well with the art style, and how the animators, and even in the original manga, how they decided to depict the moments that happen in the show. Or it's just wow. I don't know how to say it. Obviously, it's an anime, and there are moments where if you look at the background, or there's like a pan out shot and like you see multiple people, the people are barely drawn, and like most animes where like, transition frames, stuff like that. But like once you see it, if you search up DevilMan CryBaby, I don't know, like art style, and you see what happens, you see what I'm seeing right now, it's mind-blowingly pretty. Like there's beautiful parts with like incredibly like made like reflections. I don't even know how to describe any of it. It's just wild. Then what other thing? Oh, the music. I cannot get over how great the music is. The music is like a synth wave R&B like soundtrack, and it all goes so well. Everything in this anime just flows perfectly, and it goes so well. And I just can't get over the fact that like the music, there's literally a song called Cheesy Drop. You can search it up, right? Literally a song called Cheesy Drop that is a parody of like North American like club music, right? Super bass and heavy, to like dance and everything. And I swear to God, Cheesy Drop is a better song than most of the songs it's trying to parody from. Like, I don't even know how they did that, but it's so incredible. The composer for the music popped off, and it's just so good. There's a remix that I'm sad that they didn't use that much in the anime, but there's a remix of the original 1972 Devilman intro music, the OP, and it's a remix in synthwave R&B, and it's literally a majestic piece of music. There's not a single like other song in anime that I can remember as of right now that like just comes out and it's just such a bop. It's so fire. I don't know how to describe it. It's so good. The only sad thing is they didn't use that song for the opening of the show. But I can't even complain because even though the opening song for the show is kind of meh, like it's very dark atmosphere, again synthwave R&B song, and it is kind of meh compared to the other songs in the soundtrack in the OST. But the opening is filled with so much meaning, and it's so perfectly crafted. There's like those moments, those weird trippy scenes in movies where like one thing melts into another and like the thing like duplicates and like then it like collapses on itself and it makes something else show up. The entire opening is basically that, where it's a complete continuous shot of things that they show you and then it melts into something else, and it's so beautiful. And it's like, again, like the show, it's layered in meaning. And the more you think about the OP, the more you end up liking the OP. Because at first I was like, yuck, OP sucks. The music, this is awful compared to other OP music. But then when you finish the show, you go back or you watch like an analysis video on YouTube about the OP, you start noticing things and you start like connecting ideas about like the things that happen at the end of the show and the things that like you can sort of theorize and what happens in the OP, and it's like, oh my god, there's so many layers, and it's just like you end up loving the OP all the more, and you end up loving the anime all the more you think about it. And the thing is, the anime ends in a way where you will be left just like wondering and theorizing. I don't think it's hard to describe what type of ending it is, but like it's just, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like believe me when I tell you, after speaking 18 minutes and a half of DevilMan CryBaby, that the anime is just so incredible. It leaves you soul crushed so hard, and that you won't be able to think about anything else for a bit, and you'll just theorize and you'll end up liking it more and more. DevilMan CryBaby wasn't my favorite anime of all time when I watched it, and I finished watching it about September of 2018. In fact, it probably wasn't even in like top 3. But as time went on, and as I looked at theory videos on YouTube, and as I made my own theories, it's slowly climbed up the ranks, and right now it's probably my number 1 favorite anime of all time, like just slightly surpassing Full Metal Alchemist FMA, Brotherhood included into FMA, by the way. But like it's just such an incredible experience that I feel like if you're mature, if you're 18 plus, if you're 21 plus technically, because it's rated R, right? If you want to go on a soul crushing trip of an anime, want to see one of the greatest stories I've ever seen on anime, ever done, like you should definitely go watch it. It's incredible. Thank you so much for listening through today's episode. Again, if you're over 18 or over 21, please go and watch DevilMan CryBaby for the love of everything that is holy. It is so unbelievably good. Just don't watch it if you're feeling down, and just don't blame me if you end up soul crushed just like I was when I finished watching it. But with all of that said, thank you for spacing out.